Page 19, the Handbell Choir. Now you'll notice page 18 and 19 has got the same title, it's the same piece, but this is a duet, like we've been doing in duets, except instead of having the second part at the bottom of the page, they have them facing. A lot of duet music does this, where the bottom part's on the left side and the top part's on the right side, and you're both reading the music that way. This is another example of where the measure numbers come important, because each part may not have the same number of measures in each line. They can get mixed up. It depends on what's in the music. So when you have measure numbers, you can say, okay, let's start at measure 9, and you can both find measure 9 wherever it is and start there. So the measure numbers are very important. I'm going to be using measure numbers throughout this lesson, so you get a little more experience at using measure numbers. Now, there's two parts to a duet, obviously. In a lot of duets, not all, a lot of duets, there is a top part and a bottom part, or a first part, which is the top, and a bottom part is the second part. It doesn't mean the first part's the important and the second is the not. No, in a duet, both parts are equally important. But the top part is called the primo, which means first. The second part, the bottom part, is called the secondo or secundo, depending on how you want to spell it. It means second. Just don't get the idea that the primo is the important part and the secondo is the less important, because that's not true. That's not a duet if you do that. You see, it's like a soloist singing and they have an accompanist. Okay, that's where the solo is important and the accompanist needs to stay in the background. That's not a duet. That's a solo with an accompaniment. In a duet, both parts are equally important. Let's look this over on page 19. It's 4 lines long. We have treble and treble clef now. Both staves are treble clef. This is one of the reasons I always check the clefs before I start a piece. Don't just assume it's going to be treble and bass. It won't. So treble and treble clef. If you look on page 18, you see both of those staves are bass clef. Bass clef, see, they can do that too. Okay. And it's 3/4 time. We got quarter notes, dotted half notes. Think we can handle all that. Now the left hand on this is only playing one note. You look at the bottom staff throughout here, it's all G's. And they want 4th finger on G here. Well, if you're only going to play one note, it doesn't matter what finger you use. You just use a finger. Pick one. Just whichever finger is most convenient. You don't even have to use the same finger. If you get tired of that, switch. I like to use different fingers on repeated notes anyway. So who knows? I might go 1, 2. I can just switch from 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2 throughout. Or 2, 3, 2, 3, or whatever. Usually 1, 2, 1, 2, or 1, 3, 1, 3. Generally the way I do it. Or play them all with the same finger. I don't care. The right hand gets all the goodies, and the right hand is up here in this position. And I'm assuming you know the names of these notes in the music. So drill yourself. If you don't, you need to be able instantly, you should just know the names of the notes in the music. Yeah, so we're up here. All quarter notes. And that's basically it. It's just this. But with the left hand, it's just whatever. When you're comfortable with the notes and the not much rhythm to it, but no hesitations. And think about the articulation. They have the phrasing, the musical sentences. You're going to lift up between the sentences. It's like taking a breath. Lift up. Lift up. Just lift up between each one. And the left hand, connect these dotted half notes as best you can, and then you get the staccatos on. Hinge at the wrist and bump, bump, bump. Yeah. I'm on the key and I'm bouncing off each time. Boom. I put it back on the key and boom again. Boom. Yeah. Now this is a good exercise in doing different things with the hands at the same time. Because in the right hand here, you want to connect all these. connect all that. In the left hand, you have a repeated note. You can't connect it. You have to lift up. Can you lift up in the left hand and keep the right hand down? Here, I'm lifting up here, keep that down. Don't lift up in both hands. No, please don't do that. We got to learn to have the independence of the hands here. So just the left hand lifts up. Then at the end of the phrase, both hands come up. It's the end of the phrase. Yeah, it's important to develop that. Keep that in mind. And the dynamics go to the melody. MF is mezzo forte at the beginning. It's moderately loud. The melody's in the right hand. Whatever you think sort of loud is, this needs to be in the background. Just somewhere in the background. I don't care. You get to measure 9, you come down to soft. The left hand has to be very soft. And then you get to measure 17, you go back up to moderately loud like you were at the beginning. Left hand stays in the background. As far as the speed goes, well, not too fast. Okay. Somewhere in the middle, I guess. To kick a little faster or slower than that, it's up to you. Just keep it all the same speed and no hesitations anywhere. Let's play it together slowly and double check our notes and everything. I'll give us 3 counts. Now I'm not going to do any dynamics. I'm going to do both hands about the same because we're just checking notes and rhythms. We're not performing it. 1, ready, go. Off. Now I'd like to try the duet with you. I have a problem with the duet in that it's got a lot of dotted half notes in it and I can't hear you. We got to stay together. So I need to be playing quarter notes really to keep the beat going. So I'm going to adjust this duet part a little bit to play quarter notes somewhere so we can stay together. So I'll give us 3 counts. I'm going to speed it up a little bit. But you don't have to go up an octave here because you're right where you need to be here. 1, ready, go.